Welcome to this video to improve your English through real conversation. Listen carefully to the entire discussion and pause the video as many times as you want to repeat what you just heard. This will sharpen your ear and improve your pronunciation and vocabulary. Just practice to improve your English quickly. Don't forget to try again and again. Let's dive in.
All right, so you want to understand Elon Musk.
We've got a ton of material here.
We've got articles,
Interviews.
even his Wikipedia page.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think what's really fascinating about Elon Musk is that he embodies that entrepreneurial spirit, taking risks, disrupting industries, constantly pushing boundaries.
He's done it all.
He has.
From coding video games as a kid to online payments. Now, space travel, sustainable energy.
Absolutely.
I mean, his story is incredible for anyone looking to start a business.
It's a gold mine of insight.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rewind to the beginning.
Okay.
Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa, back in 1971.
Okay.
And even as a kid,
Yeah.
he was already showing signs of being a bit of a maverick.
Always pushing the limits.
Taught himself computer programming.
Wow.
And sold his first video game at 12 years old.
That's not your average preteen.
That's not your average anything.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, that early initiative and drive are really key themes in his story.
Right.
He was always
A
curious.
self-starter.
Yeah.
And those traits really shaped his path.
And then he moves to Canada.
Yeah.
And then to the U.S.
Chasing bigger opportunities.
Wow.
And think about that for a second.
Yeah.
How many people are truly willing to leave everything familiar behind
Exactly.
to pursue their ambitions?
That's a great question for our listeners.
It is.
Yeah. And that ambition led him to start his first company,
Okay.
Zip2.
Right.
And this was an online city guide.
Yeah, back in the early days of the internet.
Early days.
Providing business directories and maps to newspapers.
It was a pretty innovative concept.
It was cutting edge at the time.
And then ultimately he sells it to Compaq for $307 million.
Not a bad first exit.
Not bad at all.
No?
And he was only 28 years old.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That sale gave him the capital to really chase those big ideas.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
So where things take off.
So he co-founds X.com,
Right.
which focused on online financial services.
At the time, a very new idea.
And that eventually merges with Confinity to become PayPal.
Exactly. The game changer we all use today.
I use it all the time.
I mean, who doesn't?
And eBay sees the potential.
They did.
Buys it for $1.5 billion in 2002.
That sale catapulted Musk into billionaire status.
It did.
Gave him the financial freedom to pursue even crazier dreams.
Yeah, and this is where the lessons for entrepreneurs really start to pop.
This is where it gets interesting.
He wasn't content.
Yeah.
Just resting on his laurels.
Not at all.
He had this deeper purpose, right?
This belief that humanity needed to become a multi-planetary species.
Wow.
And shift to sustainable energy sources.
It wasn't just about making money.
It was about tackling huge global challenges.
And that brings us to SpaceX.
Founded in 2002.
And Tesla in 2004.
That's right.
These weren't just companies for Musk.
They were missions.
Yeah. And what's amazing
Yeah.
is that he wasn't afraid to put his own skin in the game.
Absolutely.
He invests a massive chunk of his PayPal fortune into SpaceX.
Huge risk.
Almost goes bankrupt, keeping Tesla afloat during those early production struggles with the Model 3.
He was willing to risk it all.
Yeah, that level of commitment and belief is amazing.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about rockets and electric cars.
Yeah.
He also founded the Boring Company,
Okay.
aiming to revolutionize transportation with underground tunnels and Neuralink,
Yeah.
which is developing brain-machine interfaces.
To treat neurological conditions.
Right.
And potentially enhance human capabilities.
It's mind-blowing.
These ventures show how relentlessly he pursues innovation.
He does.
Tackling some of humanity's most complex problems head on.
Absolutely.
And he's not afraid to explore uncharted territory,
He's a true pioneer.
even if it means attracting criticism and skepticism along the way.
He doesn't shy away from a challenge.
No, he doesn't.
And that's a valuable lesson for anyone looking to disrupt an industry or create something truly groundbreaking.
Sometimes you have to go against the grain
You do.
and challenge conventional thinking.
Absolutely. Welcome back to our deep dive into Elon Musk.
It's time to get inside the mind of a man who's been called a visionary genius.
And a demanding micromanager.
So how does Musk lead his companies?
Musk's leadership is often characterized as intense,
Okay.
demanding, laser-focused on results. He sets incredibly ambitious goals and expects his teams to work tirelessly to achieve them.
I've heard about those late-night emails.
Oh, yeah. He's known for sending company-wide emails at all hours.
Really?
Expecting quick responses.
Wow.
It's not your typical 9-to-5 environment.
So it's more like a constant mission-driven sprint.
Exactly.
That sounds pretty intense. I mean, do you think that kind of leadership is sustainable in the long run?
That's a great question. It's a topic that's been debated a lot.
Right.
While his drive and passion have undoubtedly fueled SpaceX and Tesla's success, there's been criticism about the demanding work culture.
Okay.
The pressure cooker environment.
I can see that.
Some former employees have described a culture of fear.
Really?
Burnout.
Wow.
With Musk known for impulsive firings and public reprimands.
Sounds like working for Musk can be a high-stakes, high-reward kind of experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that he attracts some of the brightest minds in the world.
He does. Musk has a knack for assembling teams of incredibly talented engineers and scientists.
People who are drawn to his vision.
That's right, the chance to work on cutting-edge technology.
And he's deeply involved in the technical details himself.
He is.
Often described as a hands-on leader.
Very much so.
Which brings us to another fascinating aspect of Musk.
Okay.
His perspective on artificial intelligence, or AI.
Right.
He's been both a champion and a cautious voice when it comes to AI development.
He has.
So can you shed some light on that?
Sure. Musk has repeatedly expressed concerns about the potential risks of uncontrolled AI development. He argues that if we're not careful, AI could eventually surpass human intelligence and pose a serious threat.
AI turning against us? That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It's not just science fiction to him.
Oh, so it's a real concern.
A real concern.
But he's also involved in AI development himself, right? I mean, he was one of the co-founders of OpenAI.
That's right. Musk was an early investor in OpenAI.
Okay.
A research company dedicated to developing what they call friendly AI.
Okay.
AI that benefits humanity.
Okay.
However, he later stepped down from the board.
Why is that?
Expressing concerns about the direction the company was taking.
Interesting.
He also founded Neuralink,
Yeah.
a company developing brain-machine interfaces.
Brain-machine interfaces? What is that?
What if we could connect our brains directly to computers?
Really?
That's what Neuralink is working on.
Wow.
They're developing implants that could potentially treat neurological conditions like Parkinson's.
Okay.
But Musk's vision goes beyond that.
What does he want to do?
He believes that brain-machine interfaces could eventually help humans keep pace with rapidly advancing AI.
Essentially enhancing our own cognitive ability.
Exactly.
So he's not against AI development altogether.
No.
But he wants to ensure it's done ethically.
Responsibly.
And he's exploring ways for humans to adapt.
Thrive in a future where AI plays an increasingly significant role.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about colonizing Mars.
Right.
It sounds like science fiction, but he seems genuinely committed to making it happen.
He is. Musk believes that becoming a multiplanetary species is crucial for the long-term survival of humanity.
And why is that?
He views Earth as a single point of failure.
Right.
If something catastrophic were to happen,
Like what?
a giant asteroid impact,
Okay.
a global pandemic,
Right.
wipes out a significant portion of the population.
Right.
Having a self-sustaining colony on another planet would be our backup plan.
So Mars is the backup plan.
He sees Mars as the most viable option, and SpaceX is dedicated to developing the technology to get us there.
SpaceX has already achieved some remarkable things.
They have.
Reusable rockets.
Spacecraft.
But colonizing Mars is a whole different ballgame.
It is.
What are some of the major challenges?
The challenges are immense.
Like what?
Mars is a harsh and unforgiving environment.
Okay.
The atmosphere is incredibly thin.
Yeah.
Temperatures are extreme.
Right.
And there's no liquid water on the surface.
It doesn't sound very hospitable.
Not at all.
So just transporting humans to Mars is a monumental feat.
It is.
But establishing a self-sustaining colony requires overcoming countless technical and logistical obstacles.
Countless.
So what's Musk's strategy for making this happen?
Musk's vision involves developing a fully reusable spacecraft,
Okay.
what he calls the Starship,
I've heard about that.
capable of transporting large numbers of people and cargo to Mars.
Okay.
He envisions building a fleet of these starships
Wow.
to enable mass migration to Mars.
A fleet of starships, it sounds like Star Wars.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
But let's say we get to Mars.
All right.
How do we survive there?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Musk has talked about terraforming Mars.
What does that even mean?
It essentially involves transforming the planet's environment to make it more habitable for humans.
So how would that work?
Imagine releasing greenhouse gases into the Martian atmosphere to warm the planet,
Right.
melt the polar ice caps,
And that would create...
eventually a thicker atmosphere,
Okay.
liquid water on the surface.
Terraforming Mars, that's next level thinking.
It is.
But are there any challenges with that?
It's a concept that's sparked both excitement and skepticism within the scientific community.
Okay.
Some scientists believe that terraforming Mars is theoretically possible,
Okay.
while others argue that it's technologically impractical or even ethically questionable.
It's certainly a topic that sparks the imagination.
It does.
But even if terraforming is possible,
Yeah.
it would likely take centuries.
Centuries, yeah.
So how does Musk propose humans survive in the meantime?
He envisions building enclosed habitats on Mars.
What would that look like?
Essentially, self-contained cities that would provide humans with a breathable atmosphere,
Okay.
controlled temperatures,
Right.
all the resources they need to live.
So picture this.
Okay.
Living in a giant dome on Mars.
Ross!
Venturing out in spacesuits to explore this alien world.
It sounds like the ultimate adventure.
But incredibly challenging.
It would require a complete reimagining of how we live and work.
Yeah.
How we interact with our environment.
Everything would have to change.
Everything.
Food production?
Waste management.
It would need to be re-engineered to function on Mars.
Complete.
And we can't forget about the psychological impact of living in a confined space millions of miles from Earth.
It would be like the ultimate isolation experiment.
How would we deal with that?
The psychological well-being of Martian colonists would be critical.
It would.
Musk acknowledges these challenges, emphasizes the importance of creating a vibrant and stimulating environment for settlers.
Interesting.
He's even suggested building entertainment facilities
Entertainment facilities on Mars.
and recreational areas on Mars to help maintain morale.
That's something I'd love to see.
It would be quite a sight.
But let's step back for a moment and consider what drives Musk's relentless pursuit of these audacious goals.
All right.
What's his underlying motivation?
I think it's a combination of factors.
Okay.
He has an unwavering belief in the power of technology to solve problems and improve the human condition.
He's also driven by a sense of urgency, right?
He is. He believes we need to act now to address potential existential threats.
Whether it's climate change here on Earth,
Or the hypothetical risk of AI becoming uncontrollable.
he's not content with sitting back and waiting for someone else to solve these problems.
Not at all.
He's definitely not afraid to take risks,
He embraces risk.
even if it means facing criticism or potential failure.
Absolutely.
It seems like he thrives on pushing boundaries.
Challenging conventional wisdom.
But it's not just about taking risks for the sake of it.
No.
It seems like Musk is deeply motivated by a long-term vision
A sense of purpose.
that extends beyond just making money or achieving personal success.
That's right. He's thinking decades.
Even centuries ahead.
It's about ensuring the survival and advancement of humanity as a species.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From Musk's leadership style,
His thoughts on AI.
his vision for colonizing Mars.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It's clear that he's a complex and multifaceted individual,
He is.
driven by a unique combination of ambition, innovation, and a deep sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to our deep dive on Elon Musk.
So now we're going to tackle some of the bigger questions.
Yeah, we've seen his incredible ambition,
The relentless innovation.
the controversies.
But what are the potential downsides to his approach?
What are the long-term implications for society as a whole?
One of the most pressing concerns is the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a single individual.
He's the wealthiest person in the world.
Right, and that gives him an incredible amount of influence.
Across industries,
Technology.
even political discourse.
It raises questions
About
about the potential for his decisions to have a disproportionate impact on the lives of others.
It's like the old
And
saying,
with great power.
comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
So how is Musk handling that responsibility?
Well, that's where things get a bit more complicated.
Okay.
Musk has certainly engaged in philanthropy.
Okay.
He's stated his intention to use his wealth to address global challenges, but there are concerns about his decision-making processes, the potential for unintended consequences.
Like what?
Take his acquisition of Twitter, now X, for example.
Okay.
His changes to the platform's policies
Particularly around content moderation
have sparked a lot of debate about the spread of misinformation.
and the impact on public trust in traditional media.
Yeah, his critics argue that his approach to free speech,
What he calls free speech absolutism.
Could actually end up harming free speech.
How?
By allowing platforms like X to become breeding grounds for hate speech,
Harassment.
propaganda,
That could silence marginalized voices.
and make it harder for people to find accurate information.
It highlights the tension between allowing unrestricted free speech
And the need to protect individuals from harm.
create a space where diverse viewpoints can be heard.
Without fear of being drowned out or silenced.
It's a discussion that will likely continue for a long time.
It will.
It's not just about social media either.
Right.
There are also questions about the environmental impact of some of his companies.
Particularly Tesla.
While electric vehicles are a step towards sustainable transportation,
There are concerns about the environmental costs.
associated with mining rare earth minerals needed for batteries.
The energy-intensive manufacturing processes involved.
It's a crucial point
It is.
as we transition to a more sustainable future.
We have to consider the entire life cycle of products.
From resource extraction and manufacturing to disposal and recycling,
It's not enough to just focus on reducing tailpipe emissions.
we have to address the environmental footprint of every stage of production and consumption.
Absolutely.
It seems like Musk's ventures often force us to confront these complex trade-offs.
I do.
We see the potential for incredible advancements. We also have to grapple with the potential downsides and unintended consequences.
It's really up to us as a society to have these tough conversations.
Yeah.
Find solutions that balance innovation with responsibility.
As we assess Musk's legacy,
It's likely to be a mixed bag of extraordinary achievements and cautionary tales.
he's undoubtedly a brilliant innovator.
He's pushed the boundaries of technology.
Captured the imagination of millions with his bold vision.
But he's also shown that even the most well-intentioned efforts can have unforeseen and potentially negative consequences.
So what can we learn from all of this?
What does Musk's story tell us about innovation?
Ambition.
The role of technology in shaping our future?
One key takeaway is that innovation is rarely a solo endeavor.
It requires collaboration,
Critical thinking.
a willingness to consider different perspectives,
We have to ask tough questions.
challenge assumptions.
Hold those in power accountable.
Even if they claim to have all the answers,
Technology is just a tool
it can be used to create incredible things,
to solve problems,
improve our lives,
but it can also be misused.
and it can have unintended consequences.
We have a responsibility to shape the future we want.
To guide technological development in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
Musk's story is ultimately a story of human ingenuity,
Ambition.
the power of dreaming big.
It's a reminder that we are capable of extraordinary things.
When we set our minds to it,
The future is not predetermined.
it's a canvas waiting to be painted by those who are bold enough to dream,
To take risks.
to challenge the status quo.
What will your contribution be?
That's a great question for our listeners.
We encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section of our YouTube channel.
And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode that can help you shape your own entrepreneurial journey.